He gave a short, mocking laugh when the judge said, asterisk, irreconcilable differences. Asterisk, just a quiet exhale, barely a sound, but loud enough for me to feel in my bones. It wasn't funny. But to him, it must have been. The final scene in a play he'd rehearsed long before I caught up to the script. They stood behind opposite tables, pretending to be strangers while their fingertips almost touched. Her eyes never once met mine. She focused on the stack of documents like they were her passport to freedom. But that freedom had a price, one she hadn't realized she'd be paying until the bailiff handed me the folder. Her face drained before I even opened it. She already knew what I was about to do. But let me take you back. It wasn't the affair that broke me. Not entirely. It was the way they made me feel. Like a joke. Like the woman who didn't matter anymore. Like I had already been edited out of their story while it was still being written. He was my husband. She was his assistant. If it sounds like a bad cliche, that's because it was. They weren't even discreet. Midnight calls. Whispered conversations from the hallway. The smell of perfume that wasn't mine lingering on his shirt. I've got a late meeting. He'd say, with who? I'd ask. Just a client. I'd nod. Let him lie. Let him think I was still the fool who believed in the vows we made. She controlled his calendar, his meetings, his travel. She even penciled in time with his attorney before he told me he wanted a divorce. I saw my name quietly disappear from accounts, from business plans, from everything we built together. And then came the sympathy, the false smiles from her coworkers, the condescending voice on the phone. So sorry, Mrs. Lane, he's unavailable. Unavailable in the same hotel suite I once booked for our anniversary. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I paid attention. I took notes. It was a crumpled dinner receipt that changed everything. I found it tucked in his jacket. 2 entrees, champagne, and a dessert neither of us ever ordered. It was like reading an obituary for our marriage. That night, something in me shifted. I stopped hoping and started preparing. A cousin in telecom pulled call logs for me. A friend from law school, now working at a firm, helped me understand shell companies, offshore accounts, transfers, pre-divorce asset dumps into her name. I built a timeline. Every lie, every secret, every misstep. It hurt, yes, but I was no longer crying. I was documenting. When the final draft of the divorce settlement arrived, you could practically hear the smugness in its tone. She'd get the lake house. He'd keep the investments. I'd be left with a few scraps. Not even the dog. But they misjudged me. In the courtroom, I slid the folder across the table to the judge. My hands were steady. Your Honor, I said, calm and certain. Before we finalize anything, I'd like this entered into the record. She went white. He froze. The judge opened the folder and took his time. Inside, undeniable evidence. Bank transfers from joint accounts to private ones in her name. Hidden assets. Video footage. Dozens of financial records, time-stamped and signed. The lake house title? Transferred during the marriage. Illegally. Fraudulent. The judge looked up slowly. This changes the entire agreement. I didn't smirk. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. His lawyer asked for a recess. Hers looked like he'd seen a ghost. They thought they were clever. That no one was paying attention. They forgot I was watching. Carefully. Quietly. By the time the court finalized the divorce, the deal they hoped for was ashes. She lost her job. He forfeited assets he tried to hide. The judge ordered penalties, launched a separate investigation into financial misconduct, and recommended criminal charges. As they left the courthouse, their hands brushed, but not like before. No affection, just tension. I caught her gaze. No more arrogance, only fear. People say revenge is best served cold. I disagree. It's best served quietly, precisely like surgery. You don't scream. You don't cry. You wait until the exact moment the door closes behind them, and the truth is already in motion. He moved into a cramped apartment downtown. She left 6 months later when the charges came down. Claimed he lied to her, that she didn't know a thing. Of course. Me? I kept the house. I got the dog. I sold the lake house and bought myself peace on a hill, somewhere far from courtrooms and whispered rumors. Sometimes with a glass of wine and the sun setting over the trees, I remember the moment I passed that folder across the table. She thought she was finalizing my ending. She didn't realize she was signing off on her own.